Hello, my name is Lee Colazo, and I am a 15-year school library veteran. I am also known as Mrs. Readerpants online, and you can find me at www.readerpants.net. Today I'm going to show you a demonstration of my What's Your Genre Personality quiz. I have two versions of this quiz. One is middle school, high school, which is grades 6 through 12, and the other is elementary, which is grades 3 through 6. You notice that 6th grade overlaps. That's because some librarians will prefer to do the elementary version with grade 6, and others will prefer to do the middle school version. The big difference is that the recommended genre in the secondary version includes romance, dystopia, and horror. In the elementary version, I don't have any romance. The books for that particular personality that encompass romance are actually more focused on friendship and family. And the horror genre, I call scary stories instead of horror in the elementary version. So, and I don't have dystopia in there at all. So if you are, it just depends on your 6th graders. If you think they're more mature and you would like to do the secondary version, I usually do the secondary version with my 6th graders, but you do have the elementary as well if you prefer that one. So I'm going to show you that. If you would like to see the secondary version, I do have a video for that on YouTube as well, and I will link that in the description so you can pop over and check that one out. They are, the actual quizzes are quite different, but the materials that are included are the same. I have a PowerPoint in both of them. It's the same length in both of them. I have the printable quiz, I have the bookmarks, I have all the things that I'm going to show you are also in the middle school, high school version. They just look different. So each of these characters on this first page represent a different genre personality. Some of them are grouped together, and there's actually a total of 12 genre personalities, and I'm going to show you 2 of them today. So everything that comes with this product also comes with a Google Classroom version. 5 pieces are for Google Slides, and 1 is for Google Forms. This is because this is actually new, and obviously we don't know what's going to happen this fall going back to the classroom, and we need to make sure that we have some digital stuff ready. So you can do this quiz in Zoom just like I'm doing it in Zoom with you right now. So the What's Your Genre Personality quiz, you don't have to do anything to prep for it except start the PowerPoint. The students will need scratch paper and something to write with, or if you want to, you can give them the printable quiz, which is what I do now. I didn't used to. I used to just use scratch paper, but I had such a long, narrow instruction area in my library that students weren't able to see the PowerPoint. So I created the printable quiz to help those students if they couldn't see or they needed me to repeat something, they had it right in front of them as well. So I use that now, but you don't have to. For many, many years, I had used just scratch paper and a pencil. I'll show you both ways to grade it. So just start the PowerPoint. It goes through the directions with the students. And if you are using the Google Classroom version of this for distance learning, know that the Google version is interactive and the students can record their answers directly on the Google Slides. I do like to remind students that if they don't understand what something means or they need clarification, to please ask, that we want them to get this right. And if they're just putting things but they don't really know what they mean, they're not likely to get an exact measure of their genre personality. So it's better if they ask a lot of questions, and I always tell them there's no dumb questions. Somebody else probably has the same question that they have, so please ask if you're not sure. I do also like to let them know that if they are not familiar with a particular pop culture reference or they don't understand one of the questions, then they probably should not put that as one of their answers, because people who are that personality would probably know that pop culture reference. So that's why I tell them, if you don't know this particular sports figure, you're probably not going to be that particular personality. So, all right, and then I always get questions before we start, which is pretty straightforward. They don't usually ask too many questions. So this is an example of one of the questions in the quiz. There are 11 that are just like this, and each one has 12 possible responses. The students will figure out pretty quickly that the letters correspond to the genre personality. Even in elementary, somebody will figure that out pretty quickly. So it's okay, it's still a lot of fun, and they enjoy doing it. So what the students are to do is they pick their top 3 or 4 answers and just write. If they're just using scratch paper, they would just write on the scratch paper if they said A and H and J and L, and then we would move on to the next question. I do recommend that they not put fewer than 3 or 4 if they can all help it. The reason is if they're only putting 1 or 2 answers on each question, they're not going to get a lot of, it's just not enough results to get really their personality. They may find that they don't fall strongly into any of them. On the other hand, if they're putting 5 or 6 answers for each question, they may find that they fall into a whole bunch of categories, and we really want to try and keep their genre personalities to like 3 or so. It's just too many. Here's another question, and so there are 11 of those. Some of them are different in secondary. The question itself is the same, but the answer choices are different in secondary. It depends on the question. All of the answer choices are editable. So if you decide that, I don't know, letter J, you want to change that into something, or maybe your students don't understand a particular word, you can change those if you would like to. So once we've gone through all 11 questions, the students will score their papers. So again, the PowerPoint walks them right through it. If they're using, this one is if they're using the principal quiz, they're just going to flip over to the 3rd page and go and see that little section down there, and they're going to write down how many A's they wrote, how many B's, how many C's, and then they're going to tally those up. If they're using regular paper, then they're just going to write A through L down the page and write down how many of each response they said. They should have been doing that all along if they're using regular paper. And then at the end, no matter which way they're doing it, they will circle their highest scoring letters, and those are their genre personalities. So what does that mean? The kids are like, what's an A? What's an A? So I do give them their results. I usually wait on their results till the next class session because there's usually not enough time. You really want to leave a lot of time. I usually do the questions in about 30-40 minutes, and then the genre personalities also in about 30-40 minutes on a different day. The scoring can happen, I have done that both ways, it just depends on the time, either at the end of the first lesson or at the beginning of the second lesson. So if they, this one, if they put mostly C's, or they put a lot of C's, then they are an innovator. So each letter of the alphabet has a different one. And I go through a description of that personality. The pet peeves, I usually have to explain to elementary students that that is things that they really just don't like at all, and things that drive them nuts. And then the recommended genre for that personality. Each one also has a character to go with it, and some have more than one character. So this is for the artist if they put a lot of J answers. So that is the PowerPoint. The PowerPoint is actually 31 slides that the students actually do, and then I have a few slides for you at the beginning to kind of explain to you what you need to do to prep. This is a photo of the printable quiz, and it looks like a whole lot of paper, but it's actually only about 3 pages for the quiz, and each page only has about 4 questions on the page. So it's not as overwhelming as it may look for elementary. It's just that the answers have a lot of choices. So the 4th page of the quiz is a reflection sheet, which you can do separately. And I also have the reflection sheet on Google Forms, which is really helpful if you would like to have the results all in one nice Excel spreadsheet. You can export it to Excel. The reflections form asks the students what their personalities were, if they agree with it, if they disagree, what kinds of genre that it said they need to read, and it just asks them to reflect on what their personalities were. If they enjoyed the activity, that's one of the questions. They always enjoy the activity. It's fun. And also For each personality, you get bookmarks that are double-sided. So in the middle there, you see the escapist description, pet peeves, and recommended genre. And what you can do is you can copy those onto the other side, which is the book recommendations. These are all editable, so if you would like to add a certain book or take off a certain book or change all the books if you want to, you certainly are able to do that and make it reflect your library and what you have. For these, I put upper elementary school. For me, that is about grades 3 through 6, and early elementary school is about grades K through 3. I didn't put grade levels on them because sometimes you want to give a lower elementary student, you want to give them an upper elementary because maybe they're really good readers. So I didn't put grade levels on them. You can change those out to be whatever definition you want them to be. If you want to put grade on them, you can. There's also full page genre personality profiles. These are also available in Google Slides. So this is similar to the bookmarks, except it's a full page, and you can edit the book recommendations, but the top half I have frozen because there is artwork there, and I don't want the personalities changed on the top part. So just the bottom part is editable. You'll also get cards that you can keep on your counter for quick reference for the personalities. So these are print 4 per page, so they're smaller than the full page. And then I also have a separate product that is posters that you can hang around your library for the personalities. You get 24 posters in this set. You get 2 for each personality. One poster is the ones that are the white background, and those are printer friendly. So if you're printing on a school printer where you have to worry about ink levels, then you can use the printer friendly. Or if you're sending these out to a Office Depot or Staples or whatever, Walgreens I think does it, you can have the posters printed in full color. They're really eye-catching as well. I've used a lot of bright colors and they're really pretty. The characters, as you can see, do correspond to the characters that are in the PowerPoint, and the descriptions correspond with the descriptions in the genre personality quiz. So I'm going to stop my share and come back to you. So if you have questions about this product, you are welcome to email me. You can go on my blog, www.readerpants.net, and shoot me a quick message. I respond to them very quickly. I am on my blog every day. Also, if you're not sure about it, you can go and check the reviews as well on Teachers Pay Teachers. Both of these, the posters and the quiz, are available on Teachers Pay Teachers and in my blog store on MrsReaderPants. So you can order them from either place, but there's a bunch of reviews on Teachers Pay Teachers that you can check out and see. So I didn't mention that this is a great activity for back to school. I usually don't do it in the first week of library. I usually do this about the 3rd lesson. So I like to have the students have time to explore the library and go over the procedures and things, and then do the genre personality. You can do this any time of the year. I've even done it at the end of the year before. I also like to do this not more than once. I like to do this about every school year. I wouldn't go more than 2 years because personalities do change, and so the students can take it again. I update it every summer, and sometimes I've added new personalities. We actually started out with only 8 personalities. There are now 12. And I change up the bookmarks and update them with new titles as well. So I hope that you enjoyed it. Thank you I know this was a long video, and I do hope that your students love this genre personality test as much as mine do. Thank you for watching.